Well, good morning. Good, beautiful Wednesday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. I'm so glad that you've been able to join me just for a few minutes this morning to study a portion of God's Word and to prepare yourself for fellowship on Sunday. I hope that you will find a Bible-believing church where you can go, take your father, or go and celebrate with your father if he's already there at the church. And just celebrate Father's Day coming up this coming Sunday. Today we're going to continue with the story of the prodigal son. Now you recall last week we talked about the father. The father saw the son, the younger son, coming from a great way off. He had great compassion. The father didn't know from a distance if that child had repented. He didn't know if that child was coming to ask for more money. You know, you just don't know what that child may have been doing coming toward him. And yet when he saw him coming from a great distance off, he had love and he had compassion. He had kindness. He had a generosity of spirit when you see what he does for him, giving him a robe and killing the fatted calf and just loving him and bringing him back. He was patient with the younger son. All of those are fruits of the Spirit. When you go over to Galatians 5, and I believe it begins in verse 22, you find that the fruit of the Spirit is not fruits, it's fruit of the Spirit, is that love and that kindness and that compassion and that generosity, all of those things that speak to the Spirit. Now, in our lives, we have a single container. The single container I think of as my heart. And I can fill my heart up with either self or spirit. I can fill it up with things of the world or things of God. But whatever room I use for the things of God, I can't put the things of the world in there because I have a certain amount of room. Now, God will grow my heart if I have spirit in there, and He will continue to expand my heart. But what we tend to find is that people who are very selfish, their heart actually shrinks. Their compassion for others actually shrinks. That's what we notice about people a lot of times when they follow the world, chase after the world. But today we're going to look at the oldest son. The oldest son is an immature Christian. We can think of him as an immature Christian. We're going to look at him in Luke 15, 28 to 30. Let's read it together. It says, "But he was angry," that's the son, "and would not go in. Therefore his father came out and pleaded with him. So he answered and said to his father, Lo, these many years I have been serving you. I have never transgressed your commandment at any time, and yet you never gave me a young goat that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with harlots, you killed the fatted calf for him." Now that's very interesting because we talked about that the Father has the fruit of the Spirit. Now if you go to Galatians 5:19 and begin reading there, what you find is that has a lot of the definition of the world, the way that the world comes out in people. Outbursts of wrath. They're very angry. They are very selfish. They want things their way. And like I said, we can either fill up our heart with spirit or we can fill it up with self. And it's really our choice. This son has filled his heart up with self. As you're reading it, what you hear is I. Throughout, all you see is I. You don't even see love for the Father, to be honest. What you see is that he kept a lot of religious rules. He kept a lot of rules. He said, I've kept your commandment. I haven't transgressed you, yet you didn't do anything for me. Never does he say, Father, I love you. And I understand my brother is home. I love you and I have tried to help you and I hope that you see that. He's not said that at all. You don't see any love. You don't see any compassion. What you see is selfishness. self-absorption. And that's what you find with immature Christians, is they're very self-absorbed. If the music isn't right in the church, or if somebody says something that tweaks at their feelings, or if the preacher doesn't say exactly the right thing, then they go off and they don't want to be a part of it anymore. And that's an immature Christian. See, the eldest son here was angry. He was so angry, in fact, that he wouldn't even call his brother. What he says is very interesting. He says, but as soon as this son of yours came, wouldn't even call him his brother. That's how upset he was. God does not want us to be like this oldest son. He doesn't want us to be immature. He wants us to see people with compassion. He wants us to see them and see the way that they were made in His image. He wants us to look and see with love, even when the person might not be doing everything we agree with. He wants us to see them with love. And I would invite you to look at these two, because they both are setting an example. Next week, we're going to talk about the returning son. But I want you to remember that throughout all of this, there are servants that are watching. And if there is dancing and music inside of the house, there are probably other family members that are watching. There may be friends that have come and they're watching. And they are seeing this play out. And what I want to tell you is, people watch what we do. They watch how things play out. They watch to see, are we loving and compassionate? Do we have mercy upon our brother or sister? Or are we like the eldest son, that we quote a bunch of rules, we talk about how we've never done anything wrong, but they've done stuff wrong. We point out all of their faults and we never recognize any of our faults. And they're looking at that. So this week I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the immature son who was angry and exhibited the way that the world presents itself in our lives. And that's over in Galatians 5:19 is where it starts, if I remember correctly. I want you to have a great day. I know you are praying for me, and I'm praying for you. I'm praying for this nation. I'm praying for this world. I want you to go and celebrate your father this weekend. And if your father isn't still alive, just think about him with good memories. If you have someone that has served as a father figure in your life, go and be with him and let him know what he has meant in your life. And you enjoy Father's Day. Try to make it to a Bible-believing church that you can be in fellowship in. I hope you have a great day today, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.